Well, the local ones and that tend to be more intimate, and that I mean, in a Manhattan, and that could you draw 100 plus people in that to a venue if you had, the right venue and the right topic in that, sure, and that, but frequently they're going to be smaller than that. And so in terms of being able to directly work with developers and that who obviously by coming have expressed some interest in your tech, and that it's way easier to do that. The ratio of attendees to presenters, and that just is much more in your favor. On the other hand, in terms of raw numbers, you're not reaching as many people, and so therefore, the level of effort to try to get to a larger audience, and that is more of a challenge versus, say, having a booth at AndevCon or something like that, where it is, I mean, you'll get hundreds of people swinging by, and that, though it's on the whole, it's going to tend to be your typical sort of conference, and that where a lot of people are trolling by, and that without any particular interest other than whatever particular giveaway you've got, and that the number of people that you may get who are seriously interested in your tech may actually not be dramatically higher than what you would get by hosting a more specific event. In terms of probably the best bang for the buck, so to speak, and that would be more of what I would describe as more of a mid-sized conference, in that your Droid cons, your big Android barbecues, those sorts of events where they're not as large as an AndevCon, let alone a Google I/O, but you can still have both presentation time and booth presence, and be able to reach a reasonable number of people.
As far as local meetup events, that's something that we have on our radar to get more involved in, because there is a really good community here, and a decent-sized mobile game community as well in Santa Monica and West LA. So we participate in some of the specific Silicon Beach activities, but we really want to get more involved in those local meetups, and mostly for a relationship perspective. We're always on the lookout for developers. We're always on the lookout for talent. So really participating and integrating ourselves into the local scene and the meetup scene is a way for us to really reach out and make sure that we're always kind of scouting for talent and scouting for people who can help us. Yeah, we do. We probably do a half dozen, probably 6 to 10 events every year. We just did GDC. We'll do the platform-specific developer conferences. And yeah, we really enjoy those. Depending on the type of event, there's a different kind of thing we get from them. Ideally, all of them, one of our main goals is to really meet with the developer community at that event. That's ideal for us, is to get some actual face time, some personal one-on-one time, or some group time to really kind of make that personal connection, which really helps. But beyond that, if it's a lot of times the sessions are very informative, so we'll try and bring technical people as well as business people to the conferences, so that way we can really get the most out of it that we can get. We want to have the technical people there so they can really get the hands-on, unfiltered view of what's going on. For us, as far as what's most successful in conferences, it really kind of breaks into two camps, in my opinion, of the things that I like the best. The one is going to be a direct representative from that company telling me about something that's new and really doing a good job of it, breaking it down, explaining why it's different, what's new about it, just what's so great about it. The other type of session that I really enjoy is seeing another successful developer or publisher who is successful and open. So seeing someone who really is willing to share how they got where they got, or why they did what they did, is really great. Those sessions to me are fantastic. The more open the presenter is, the more we get out of it. So
I had always found the smaller events to be more valuable if you wanted real help, and the bigger events to be more valuable if you wanted to make a connection into a particular handset company or platform with a plan of doing something greater in the future. Getting distribution or co-marketing dollars or whatever it might be, but not necessarily better for getting questions answered. Often because those sorts of folks were mediation layer, like they weren't necessarily the people who could answer it. Maybe they could, maybe they couldn't, or they were just hounded by other people. It was hard to get their time. But in the smaller events, you could do that. But I mean, that's sort of a personal experience. I've been to probably every OEM developer event at some point, I have also been to Google I/O, et cetera, et cetera. The other thing that I find at a lot of these developer events, which I find quite boring, is it becomes very much about presenting on stage and trying to walk people through tutorial. And really, yes, there's probably an audience that maybe wants to learn, but I wouldn't be surprised if the majority of the audience just wants to talk to people on the team and understand different parts of the system.
Developer events, I mean, typically, we'll have like a more experienced developers or even just people who just kind of studied a particular topic and they present it, to the best of their abilities. So it's usually about like an hour, 90 minutes worth of good content. But probably the most valuable portion about being a part of a user group is the community, the networking, the ability to make a connection afterwards and then say, oh, I can have someone to bounce an idea off of, or you can talk about, client issues or job search issues. So that's the most value I think that comes from a user group. However, the conferences are, from a training perspective, and even possibly from a networking perspective, a lot higher in value. And so they're definitely something that I encourage, every developer to participate in and find out, which ones work best for them or advantageous. I mean, you could do maybe like 2 years worth of user group meetings, like 1 or 2 nights a month, and then going to a one-day conference, you could learn a lot more.
Being in the Bay Area, these events are happening all around us, right? And every week there's 50 of these things. And so I tend to go to the ones where there's either somebody speaking or I know that somebody would be valuable to know is at. I reach out to them ahead of time to try to set up, time to chat. Like, hey, I'm coming to your event. It'd be great if we can spend 5 minutes. I'd love to walk you through one of the things that we're working on or something. And then go to the event. The Google I/Os and the Apple developer events and stuff are awesome. I've not been to one because they're expensive and they take a lot of time and the like. I find that going to the more targeted ones that aren't as big are a little bit easier. It's not going to an event where we're going to learn something that we could have learned off a video on YouTube, right? It's worth going to an event if we can actually make a personal connection. For me, all of these in-person events are all about connecting with the right people and building a relationship, right? So if you cannot get one of the people that you want to talk to actually ready to talk to you, it's not worth going, right? So I try to look at all these events with that filter. Can I figure out who's going to go to the event? Are the people there I want to speak to? Can I reach out to them ahead of time? Do they respond back to me, right? And these days with Twitter, it's really easy to do all those things. And then at that point, yes, it's worth my time to go and actually build those relationships.